Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you coming out here to hear some of our updates on the Ben Avery Master Plan. I'm Mike Rom. I'm the Shooting Sports Branch Chief. Our branch consists of overseeing all the commission-owned shooting ranges, which there's 10 of them, which includes Ben Avery that we staff and manage ourselves. With me this evening, we have our the Ben Avery Operations Manager, Jonathan McGraw, the Ben Avery Rifle and Pistol Range Manager, Christopher Dean, and the Ben Avery Clay Target Center and Archery Range Manager, Steve Kennedy. So this evening we're going to kind of go over the updates for the master plan, a little bit of history of Ben Avery and the original master plan, and then we'll take some questions here. We're being webcast, so we have folks at home. They'll all get to respond through our email address, any comments or questions they have, and then all you guys will be able to ask questions if you want. And we're going to be here all evening and out at the maps that you guys can engage with us and talk there too. So we will get started. So the Ben Avery Shooting Facility, which opened in 1960, was called the Black Canyon Shooting Range. It was operated by the Maricopa County Parks then, and it was on state land. The commission purchased the land in 1972 and was authorized through the Arizona State Senate Senate Bill 186, which was approved and passed in 1968. The facility was renamed in 1992, honoring Ben Avery himself. He was a key person in getting Ben Avery out here and established, and a longtime shooter here in Arizona. The department took over operations then in 1995. That was the rifle and pistol part of the range and the archery ranges. The Clay Target Center operations were taken over then by the department in 2006. So a little bit about Ben Avery. Some of you guys probably know this, but the facility itself is 1,650 acres, so it is a big piece of property. We're very fortunate to have something like this. The Arizona Game and Fish Department's headquarters on the property, the building we're in here today, or this evening. It's a City of Phoenix point of pride. It's also an NSSF 5-star range. We average over 230,000 shooter days a year, throw 6 million clay targets, 200 plus or minus different user groups, rifle, pistol, clay target, archery, different groups use the range along with all of the public shooters that come out. Designated Regional Olympic Training Center for trap. We've hosted the Olympic trials out here, and we host all kinds of world-class shooting events, people coming from the great state of Arizona, all over the country and the world. So the Ben Avery Master Plan. The original master plan was started in about 2006. It was really created and developed to develop the short and long-term objectives for the range. Process included a lot of public outreach, focus groups, workshops, public user groups, and Game and Fish Department staff. And it was approved at the December Commission meeting in 2007. 2010, there was a few updates made to the plan. The northern end, where the archery ranges are, were kind of specified. There wasn't a lot of detail in the archery range. The Clay Target Center's pavilion was added to the plan, and there were some changes in the trap and skeet field locations. So since 2006, kind of as the master plan concept was going on and then approved, and this is a very conservative number because we don't have all the data from some of these investments, but the department's invested over $8.5 million into the range itself, ranging from, and I'll go run all over these quickly, but the CTC new pavilion, the Rifle and Pistol Range's new store and operations center, the DPS training center, the new burger building in the 1,000-yard range, and some of these, the pavilion, burger building, we got some donation and sponsorship dollars that help support those. The Cowboy Mounted arenas, the different facades, Biscuit Tank was put in, the OHV training area, Hunter Ed ranges. We built a maintenance and a target construction buildings. The indoor air gun and target building turned into our indoor range where we have archery also now. Feeder range canopies, parking and range expansions, additional sporting clays courses have been added. One that's currently happening right now are the lights on the 5 stand. 6 new restrooms at the Clay Target Center. A lot of paving, lots of road and parking lot improvements over this time. We're hopefully finishing the water line, our new infrastructure this fiscal year as we get into the spring. The central campground was put in, the new Clay Target Center campground was put in, the rifle steel range improvements, and a lot of berm work improvements over time. So why are we updating the master plan? One of the things is the actual master plan, you guys got to see the folks that are attending here, and we'll have a map up here shortly, the actual map of a master plan. The master plan itself also is a written document that captured a lot of the feedback and the things to see. So there's some things that were in the text of the master plan that weren't on the map part. And there's some things that got built that were identified but maybe in a different location. So we're doing some as-built to show the right places and add those things. And then the other part is we're seeing the development here of the North Valley. And it's growing and growing and growing. And we want to protect Ben Avery. It's a valuable asset to our community, to our shooting sports folks, and we want to protect that. In 2020, the city of Phoenix changed the zoning of the property on the south side of Carefree Highway, or south side of Carefree Highway, south of Ben Avery. It had been a mixed-use zone, which allowed commercial and residential. It was changed to commercial and a commerce, business park. That's a huge win just for the range. Keeping the residential houses out really helps us, protect it. But with this development, it's not going to stop. You're watching it coming north. So we're looking at areas around the range that we can't, build new ranges or different shooting range activities, and we're identifying that as a range protection zone. Excuse me. So areas within this range protection zone could be used for things such as landscaping designs for aesthetics, sound mitigation measures, or other types of potential cooperative development projects, which would support and are compatible with continued operations of the Ben Avery Shooting, Shooting Facility in perpetuity. So here's the map for our folks that are watching from home. And you guys got to look at this here this evening. The key area of the protection zone, or what we're trying to accomplish here that I mentioned, is on the east side of the property along I-17, and then along the south side of the property on the north side of Carefree Highway. So this is what we're calling that protection zone, which could be landscaping or some type of different cooperative development. Whoops. So want to go over a couple statutes here that are kind of important for the range itself. One of them is the 17231, and it's the powers and duties of our commission. The Arizona Game and Fish Commission may adopt rules relating to range operations, including hours, fees, events, safety, and the authority of range officers to enforce rules, remove violators, and refuse entry for repeat violators. So that authority gives the commission the ability to, approve our master plans and the things that we want to do here for the range. 17273 is the Firearm Safety Ranges Fund. That key piece of that is the monies received from the sale or lease of real property acquired for the purpose of providing a public shooting range, or monies received from the sale of goods and services from the commission-owned shooting ranges, except for program income associated with federal grants, is to be used for range-related projects, development, and operations. And we will touch on this here shortly a little more. So the next few, all kind of tied to our outdoor shooting range. 601 just kind of defines what a outdoor shooting range is, and it's a permanent range that's open to the public. 602 talks about the noise standards we need to follow, testing methods, and those requirements. 603 goes into talking on the noise buffering requirements for developers if zoning changes for residential construction within 1 mile of a shooting range, which was constructed before July 1st of 2002. 604 is why our shooting hours, we can't shoot before 7 a.m. in the morning, and we need to be done shooting by 10 o'clock. And then 605 talks about protection from civil liability when you're complying with that article. And then the last one is 17621, and this one's a really important one. The first section of that talks about a city with a population more than 1 million with real property located within 1/2 of a mile of a state-owned shooting range on or before January 1st, 2004, must give property notice, which is in the CCNRs, for increased noise. So like Tremonto and all that, they all receive that. Anthem, also residents receive those. And then the second section of that talks about, it really is about protecting shooting ranges from being closed. So these are all important and all tied into the protection of Ben Avery and authority of our commission. So the range protection zone, developing a use criteria on that. So we'll run through this. The range protection zone cooperative development project proposals will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis and will need to clearly demonstrate how they will meet the following criteria. The project's support is compatible with and does not interfere with the Ben Avery Shooting Facility operations. The facility increases the project increases the long-term protection of the Ben Avery Shooting Facility, and the project provides an ongoing source of revenue which supports Ben Avery Shooting Facility operations and improvement and development projects. There's a couple recent examples, or I shouldn't say recent, over time that fit into this. We've been approached for cell towers along I-17 and billboards. This zone and what we're looking at doing will give approval for the commission to allow those types of things to go out there. Support the range. I think you all know how poor our cell service coverage is, so the cell tower would definitely be a help for us. So the land use, the land itself, Ben Avery, including all the areas identified as the range protection zone, are all owned by the Arizona Game and Fish Commission. There wasn't any federal funds used to purchase the property, so there's no federal nexus, and there wouldn't be any requirements for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service approval on any of those projects in that protection zone. So getting back to those monies and that statute, the monies received for any of the cooperative development projects, all those funds would end up in a range, from the range protection zone would be deposited in that firearm safety fund that we talked about and used to support range development operations and services. So example, some of you probably remember this back in the mid-2000, 2004, 5 in the 6 the city of Phoenix put the main water line along Carefree Highway, and that was on property of Ben Avery. The department received $1.74 million for that right of way, and all that money went into the Clay Target Center, all those improvements when we took over those operations, the expansion of the rifle and pistol ranges back then, and then the actual master plan itself, its development. So here's kind of our next steps where we're at. Department's accepting the public comments, so that's this evening with all your folks and the folks at home. Be able to email through our customer service email address any comments, thoughts, questions. The master plan update will be presented to the Arizona Game and Fish Commission at their January 20th meeting, which is next Friday. The recommendation will be to add to the consent agenda for the next regular commission meeting, which is in February. And then the public, you're all welcome to attend the commission meeting and provide any comment or address the commission at that time. So that is a overview of our update. So we'll take, like I said, we'll take some questions here. If you guys have any questions directly now, we will be here this evening around with the maps and can entertain and conversations and questions then too. So if anybody has a question that wants to, while we're live streaming right now, you can go to the mic and share. And if there's no questions for this part, we will, we're going to bring the map and the email address for our folks at home that they can look at it and provide their comments through the email, and we'll head back to the lobby area. Okay, we'll see you guys back here then and chat. Thank you very much for taking time out to be here with us this evening.